What do you think is the strangest car ever to hit the streets? An electric egg, a two-seater UFO, or a Ferrari as square as a brick? All these designs, which seem to exist only in the imagination, were actually produced. Some even had license plates and were cruising along in the real world. In this video, we'll explore the 10 most bizarre cars in history from decades past, but strangely enough, every single one of them was actually street legal. Number 1. The 1935 Stout Scarab, the living room on wheels. At first glance, you might think, is this an Art Deco spaceship or a strange rail car? But no, it's the Stout Scarab, the very first minivan in history, and perhaps the most beautiful. Designed in 1935 by William B. Stout, the car used an aerodynamic teardrop-shaped body, an incredibly spacious cabin with rotating seats and a completely flat floor. It had no traditional chassis and no drive shaft, thanks to a rear-mounted engine and a monocoque frame, a technology far ahead of its time. The interior was like a mobile living room where people could chat, read the newspaper, or even have tea while the car was moving. Only about 9 were ever built, and most were for the designer's personal use. The Scarab was never mass-produced, but it planted the seeds for a future that would only be realized decades later: the family minivan, the versatile crossover, and the open-concept cabin. A forgotten vision, but one worthy of respect. Number 2. The 1962 Peel Trident, the tiny bubble UFO. What are you looking at? A goldfish bowl on wheels? A mini flying egg? No, this is the Peel Trident, the bubble spaceship with just 2 seats featuring a transparent dome that lifts up like a UFO hatch. Built on the Isle of Man in 1962, the Trident was just 5.9 feet long and used a 49cc engine from a moped. Its top speed around 28 miles per hour, but it felt like piloting a life-size toy. The Trident was the bigger brother to the famous Peel P50, but it kept the same ultimate minimalist spirit. No side doors, no reverse gear, and you literally had to pick it up to turn it around. In today's automotive world, there's nothing like the Trident, because no one would dare recreate such a bizarre design. But in its brief golden age, it appeared in magazines, comedy films, and was even road tested. It wasn't just a car, it was a statement. We can build anything, if we dare. Number 3. The 1970 Lancia Stratos HF0, the steel wedge that shaved the pavement, just 33 inches tall. Yes, less than 3 feet. This isn't a supercar, it's a metal dart. The Lancia Stratos HF0 was one of the most audacious designs ever to appear at a car show. It had a razor-sharp nose, a wedge-shaped body, and no side doors. Instead, the windshield itself hinged open for entry. There was no grille, no door handles. Everything was hidden within the bodywork like a flying saucer that had landed on the road. The design by Marcello Gandini of Bertone stunned the world, not just for its insanity, but because it could actually run. It used a 1.6L engine from the Lancia Fulvia, and while its power was modest, the design was light enough to accelerate like a sports car. Although only a concept, the HF0 paved the way for the legendary Lancia Stratos rally car that followed. The Zero is the perfect example of the saying, when you aren't bound by reality, you can create what no one else would dare to imagine. Number 4. The 1976 Ferrari Rainbow, the boxy Ferrari, the brand of sensual curves and speed. But in 1976 Pininfarina, the legendary design studio decided to challenge itself. The result was the Ferrari Rainbow, a literal sports brick. It had a boxy body, a manually removable roof, and an entire design composed of stark, flat planes. Not a single soft curve in sight. The Rainbow wasn't a commercial car, but a prototype meant to explore future design languages, especially the concept of modularity. Though only one was ever made, the Rainbow sparked intense debate upon its debut. One side claimed it was too ugly to be a Ferrari, while the other called it a courageous step during an era of eccentric Italian car design. Underneath its bizarre shell was a powerful 3.0L V8 engine and a midship layout, enough to make anyone who underestimated it think twice. The Rainbow shows us even Ferrari has had its weird days. Number 5. The 1979 Aston Martin Bulldog. The forgotten monster imagined. You're a luxury brand specializing in sophisticated British Grand Tours, and one day, you build an ultra-flat, high-speed spaceship called the Bulldog. Sound absurd, but Aston Martin did exactly that in 1979. The Bulldog was designed to break the 200 miles per hour barrier, and they nearly succeeded with a tested top speed of 192 miles per hour. Only one was ever made, featuring a monstrously powerful twin-turbo V8 engine, a low-slung body scissor doors, and a cockpit like a spacecraft. But the project was canceled for being too expensive. The car was put into storage, falling into oblivion for nearly 45 years. That is until 2021, when a team of passionate restorers revived the Bulldog, bringing it back to the track with one final goal: to hit the 200 miles per hour mark. It was denied all those years ago. This isn't just a car. It's the unfinished dream of a legendary automaker. And now it lives again. Number 6. The 1942 L'Urf Electrique. The wartime electric egg. While the world was engulfed in World War II, a designer in Paris named Paul Arzens created something no one expected: an electric egg on wheels. Named L'Urf Electrique, meaning the electric egg, this single-person vehicle had an ultralight aluminum frame and a curved glass bubble like a cockpit. Its total weight was under 770 pounds, and its top speed was 43 miles per hour. But if it carried a passenger, the speed would be cut in half. Arzens drove this car around Paris for years, becoming a unique sight among the old Citroëns. The miracle is this: L'Urf was built nearly 60 years before Tesla was even founded. It was rechargeable, ran silently, had zero emissions, and was a symbol of a future vision no one at the time believed was possible. Though never commercialized, L'Urf Electrique remains a silent testament to boundless creativity, even in times of turmoil. Number 7. The 1953 Firebird 1 XP21 car or fighter jet. This is a car that when you look at it, you can only ask, wait, can it fly? Developed by General Motors in 1953, the Firebird 1 looked jet fighter, a long fuselage, a bubble canopy, and even a real airplane tail. The incredible part, it used a real gas turbine engine capable of reaching 200 miles per hour, but was nearly uncontrollable at that speed. There was no traditional steering wheel. The driver controlled the vehicle with an airplane-style joystick. The Firebird 1 was part of a series of bold GM concepts meant to showcase a car of the future vision in the atomic age. Though it was never mass-produced, thankfully the Firebird 1 was the ultimate symbol of a build-it-now-figure-it-out-later mentality. The project was followed by the Firebird 2 and 3, but none ever truly hit the public roads. Still, who would have thought that in the 50s, a company seriously asked the question, what if cars used jet engines? Number 8. The 1967 Lamborghini Marzal Rolling Art. When Lamborghini introduced the Marzal in 1967, the entire fashion world, not just car enthusiasts, had to take notice. Because this wasn't just a car, it was a transparent work of art. The Marzal had a silver body, a stark white interior, and glass gull-wing doors that stretched from top to bottom, making you feel like you were sitting in a photo booth on wheels. Designed by Marcello Gandini for the Bertone studio, the Marzal was a declaration that cars aren't just for transportation, they're a style statement. It was once driven by the Prince of Monaco to open the F1 Grand Prix Street, owning the entire audience. Under the hood was a mid-mounted 6-cylinder engine, but people hardly cared. Everyone was mesmerized by a design unlike any car that had come before it. The Marzal was never produced commercially, but it paved the way for the Lamborghini Espada and inspired a generation of bold coupes to come. Number 9. The Reliant Robin. Britain's king of three-wheelers. If you've ever seen the show Top Gear, you'll remember the segment where Jeremy Clarkson drives a three-wheeled car that keeps flipping over like a running gag. That was the Reliant Robin, the most loved and most mocked car in Britain. Produced from the 1970s to the early 2000s, it featured a super light fiberglass body, a small engine, and, most famously, only one front wheel. This made it wildly unstable when cornering quickly, leading to countless, ridiculous rollovers. But why did thousands of people still drive it for decades? The answer lies in its cheap road tax, the fact that a full car license wasn't required to drive it in the UK at the time, and its extremely low running costs. It wasn't safe, it wasn't powerful, it wasn't modern, but it became a symbol of a struggling, yet optimistic Britain. The Reliant Robin was far from perfect, but that very imperfection is what makes it so memorable. Number 10. The 1955 BMW Isetta, the front door car. Have you ever opened a car door by pulling the entire front of the car open? If not, then you need to meet the BMW Isetta, one of the strangest cars to ever hit the road. At just under 4.6 feet wide, the Isetta had 3 wheels and a single door located on its nose, where the driver and passenger entered together as if opening a refrigerator. Inside was a single bench seat, just big enough for 2 people to sit very closely, with the instrument panel and steering wheel attached to the door. Developed from an original Italian design, BMW acquired the rights and mass-produced it to meet post-war transportation needs. Despite looking like a toy, the Isetta literally saved BMW from bankruptcy in the 1950s. It was cheap, fuel-efficient, and full of bizarre character, making the Isetta a symbol of creativity born from hardship, a car like no other. Yet it was warmly welcomed across Europe. You've just witnessed some of the craziest cars that actually appeared on real streets, not from movies, not from fiction. If you want to see a part 2 with even weirder cars, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video with your friends who love weird cars.